Good evening. Welcome to KTN Weekend Prime, and finally he's back. Welcome back from the break. I'm Yvonne Okwara-Matole. Welcome to the show tonight.
I'm John Alanamu. Thank you very much for joining us from wherever you're joining us in East Africa. And how many other countries across
11 countries across the region.
11 countries, that's right. We've got a great bulletin for you, including that story about the scandal that wasn't, that now is. But it wasn't.
Yeah, and
but today it is.
And juxtapose that with the 17 billion that the teachers are asking for, with 791
million
lost.
Lost in the NYS corruption scandal, 21 people interdicted, but of course the questions remain about why the denials in the first place. We'll be getting into that a little later in the bulletin. Some big news coming out of the rugby world. We've got a great interview by Lynn Washira and new Kenya Sevens coach Benjamin Ayimba tonight, so look out for that.
He's also new and not so new. And was there before and is there now.
Actually, there was a joke about Benja because in 2006 he was a coach.
Yeah.
In 2006 Obama came to the country.
Oh.
In 2006 Safari Sevens was Safari Sevens. All of which has happened
again this year. There you go.
The past is prelude indeed.
Indeed, so Lynn Washira, like John Alanama said, will be speaking to him. It's a great interview, you don't want to miss that. We have that and all the stories that are making headlines, not just here in Africa, but around the world. This is KTN Weekend Prime.
Our strike is on, but it is now on hold until we get more from the court.
KOTU shelves plans from Monday strike after Uhuru says no.
Tulipigania uhuru huu mpaka ukaja, sasa tunafurahia uhuru.
Lest we forget, monument in honor of Kenyan freedom fighters unveiled. Uganda dispatches pathologists to investigate death of cabinet minister. And eyeing Olympic gold, rugby coach Benjamin Ayimba reveals his plan.
Welcome to the program tonight. Our sign language interpreter is William Silla. We want to start off here in the country. Kenyan Deputy President William Ruto has asked the lower eastern leaders to stop wrangling, saying the supremacy battles in the area were undermining development.
The DP warned that political rivalry between factions, one loyal to Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua and the other to former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, had stagnated the development of the region.
Touring Mwingi County, Kenya's lower eastern region, the Deputy President weighed in on the political rivalry between the Machakos Governor, Dr. Alfred Mutua, and former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka. Ruto warned that supremacy battles and playing regional kinship was akin to derailing development of the region.
Hakuna mwananchi wa Kenya wa upinzani. Wananchi wote wa Kenya ni wa taifa moja, taifa la Kenya. Na serikali yao ni moja, serikali ya Kenya.
Machakos Governor Dr. Alfred Mutua and his Wiper Party boss Kalonzo Musyoka have locked horns in what Wiper Party loyalists claim is Mutua's offensive to upstage Kalonzo as the Kamba regional kingpin. Rivalry between the two was displayed when Kalonzo's political rally was disrupted a week ago by youth wielding placards praising Governor Mutua. And this Friday, Wiper youth seen as supporters of Kalonzo Musyoka also stormed Mutua's rally. Thus far, the Wiper Party wants Mutua to decamp the party and join the Jubilee administration they claim he's cozy with.
Na mimi naomba watu wote, wale walikuwa wanashindana na Uhuru Kenyatta, walikuwa wanashindana na wewe Mheshimiwa Ruto, waache mambo ya siasa na vitina, tufanyie wananchi.
Sababu Kitui County ni Kenya. Na ile serikali Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta na mimi tunaendesha ni serikali ya Kenya.
Mutua is championing the Maendeleo Chap-Chap drive that seems to be upsetting his sponsor party, Wiper. Critics view Mutua's antics as a coup to topple Kalonzo from the hierarchy of the Ukambani politics.
Safari ya kutoka kule Misri ambayo tumeumia kwa muda mrefu imeshaanza. Sisi tumeanza kwenda kule Kana. Lakini kuna wengine ambao wanatuona tukienda kule wanapigwa na bumbuazi. na mshangao na kutatanika.
But the Deputy President says his administration will not seclude opposition regions in its development agenda. Samogina, KTN News.
To that corruption scandal, and a new number for corruption in this country, at least for the next couple of weeks, will be 791 million shillings. That's the amount of money that fraudsters stole from the National Youth Service, and that was also the amount of money that had been denied to have been stolen earlier on, about 3 months ago, when the scandal first broke. 21 people have been interdicted, but this will put the CS for devolution, Anwar Igoro, as well as her ministry and the NYS in the eye of a storm over corruption yet again. We will bring you that story in a few short moments and the details that have emerged since that revelation yesterday. Let's move across borders to Uganda, where the government has dispatched a team of pathologists to Dubai to investigate the sudden death of Interior Minister General Aronda Nyakairima. Nyakairima died suddenly while traveling home from an official trip to South Korea. General Aronda, who was 56, died while transiting through Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. Nyakairima served as Interior Minister since 2013, and he had previously been the top commander of Uganda's military and was credited with helping to push infamous warlord Joseph Kony from Ugandan territory. Back home, the Kenya Central Organization of Trade Unions has beaten a retreat on the calls for a nationwide strike on Monday. The KOTU Secretary General, Francis Atwoli, advised workers to wait until Tuesday for the court decision on the legality of the teachers' strike. This came hours ahead of President Uhuru Kenyatta, who bluntly told striking teachers that the government would not pay them the increment they are demanding.
Can't pay, won't pay. President Uhuru Kenyatta's message to striking teachers that has stirred up quite a storm. Saturday, the entire Central Organization of Trade Unions, Executive Board, and members of the union held a meeting that was widely expected to announce the final plans for a nationwide strike on Monday. KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli had threatened to rally all workers to go on strike in solidarity with the teachers who have downed their tools for 2 weeks now. But the KOTU boss will put the brakes on the plans for a Monday strike.
On Tuesday, being caught in full to challenge this order. So that on Wednesday, if a ruling is on the same day and is vacated, on Wednesday we are meeting here. Mutasikia kwa radio siku ile tunamuita hapo. Our strike is on, but it is now on hold until we get more from the courts. We don't want to defy the courts. Wasema Atwoli pia alikuwa anasema president akusikia court na yeye pia amekuwa the same. I'm an international labor leader of repute, and I don't want to regress myself.
This announcement comes just a day after the declaration by the Federation of Kenya Employers that the 7-day strike notice issued by KOTU to support striking teachers was against the law.
FKE is opposed to the planned strike through which KOTU seeks to involve members with whom they do not have any trade disputes, reported by them as envisaged in law, given the effects that a general strike will have on the country. Further, the issue is still pending in court.
Already, the Teacher Service Commission has commenced disciplinary action on striking teachers. The commission, serving 5,000 head teachers in the counties, will show cause letters for absenteeism, negligence, and insubordination.
When the situation becomes so difficult to retain those students in school, it becomes imperative that we have to release them, because a single head teacher with the deputies, 1 or 2, may not be able to control a population of over 1,000 students.
For now, everyone seems to be waiting to see the impact of President Uhuru Kenyatta's declaration that he will not obey the court order. Fatma Pole, KTN News.
The strike is still on, but it is on hold, says Francis Atwoli from the KOTU, and we will wait to see how that plays out. All right, Kenya's Mau Mau war veterans were this morning witness to a historic moment that saw the inauguration of the Mau Mau monument at Nairobi's Uhuru Park. The inauguration is a culmination of a ruling issued by a British court in June 2013 that saw the veterans benefit from a 2.7 billion shilling compensation. But as KTN's Timothy Otieno reports, behind the glamour surrounding the event, some veterans still appeared to hold reservations as to how the process of compensation has been handled by the government.
It's just a few minutes before noon and the Nairobi sun is unrelenting. But perhaps even more unrelenting is the spirit of the near 300 Kenyan war veterans present at the Freedom Corner at Nairobi's Uhuru Park. You see, the aged Kenyans have been through it all. Besides, they fought for the freedom of the country, and so they patiently sit as they await to see the unveiling of a structure that will represent their struggle. A struggle they began against the British administration during the colonial days. But perhaps none is more anxious than 95-year-old Ngugi Muthwaike. He proudly holds up the picture of the man he fought so hard to see lead the country back then. Muthwaike is part of a group of 5,000 veterans who received compensation from the British government over mistreatment by the British soldiers during the state of emergency declared in 1952.
Kitu tunafanya hao watu wanaokoa, hao walipigania uhuru hii nikiwa moja. Nilikuwa natoa roho moyo wangu nipe.
The Secretary General of the Mau Mau War Veterans Association, Gitu Wakahengeri, led the fight from the British courts to have the men and women honored.
Sisi kwa jasho letu, kwa nguvu zetu za akili, kwa nguvu zetu za mikono, tulipigania uhuru huu mpaka ukaja. Sasa tunafurahia uhuru.
The Mau Mau story is a story of atrocity and excess. A dirty war from which no one emerged with much pride and certainly no glory. It is an uncomfortable history, but it is a history that needs to be told. And as we are doing today, a history that needs to be dealt with.
The ruling compelling the UK government to pay 2.7 billion to the veterans, as well as issue a statement of regret for atrocities caused, also required that a monument be erected in their honor.
1, 2, 3.
The monument represents the figure of a Kenyan woman giving a Mau Mau warrior food during the struggle and was constructed at a cost of nearly 15 million Kenya shillings.
The hero. The hero. Okay.
This even as issues of improper compensation dogged the event, as some veterans claimed not all of them had received their dues.
Hawa watu walifanya hiyo kazi yote ya kuondoa mzungu hapa. There is no compensation that they can be given.
Sisi tungetaka serikali hii ijue watu hawa walipigania uhuru, tutaweza kuwasaidia.
The monument will now stand as a recognition of history and a symbol of reconciliation meant to act as a peace offering that will see the Britain and Kenyan governments bury the hatchet as far as colonial mistreatment is concerned. And so now the scramble to get a glimpse of a historic monument is on here for the Mau Mau veterans at the Uhuru Park grounds as they acknowledge a bitter past between both Kenya and Britain and hope that this monument will enable them to draw a line that will help them forge forward as a people reconciled with a bitter past. Timothy Otieno, KTN, Uhuru Park, Nairobi.
The two children who died after receiving measles vaccination in Elgeyo Marakwet were laid to rest today amid calls for the government to offer compensation to the families. The children, one aged 9 months and the other 7 months, developed complications last week on Tuesday after receiving measles vaccinations at Kabetwa Health Center, which is run by the county. Others were hospitalized when they developed complications after receiving the vaccine.
Ngoje kwa matumaini kurudi kwake mkombozi wetu Yesu Kristo.
Kwa kuwa ufalme ni wako na nguvu.
Itulinde, 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 familia Bwana itulinde, itulinde Baba tuongoze.
Kama wameshindwa na kazi ya health function. Tafadhali health function irudishwe kwa national government. Sababu hatuwezi kuwa ati tunaona pesa mingi imetumika. Juzi tuliajiri wafanyikazi. Manases waliajiriwa zaidi ya 200. Na kama hospitali hakuna daktari, kwa nini inaendelea kufanya kazi?
I want to tell Mheshimiwa kuwa vaccination is a function of national government. All the drugs tunapata kutoka KEMSA. They get from UNICEF, sisi tunatoa KEMSA. Which is also their responsibility to ensure that we have enough capacity to perform immunization.
Health function kwa Kenya mzima imekuwa afadhali kwa sababu imekuja counties. Hata ukipita Iten uende Iten Referral Hospital, you can see it is far much better na vile ilikuwa kwa miaka ile ilipita. What we are saying is that our counties are grappling with challenges. And one of the teething problems is ensuring that the facilities are well equipped. I would rather say there should be more collaboration between the staff at the county level and the county government kuwapatia support to improve the health function. Hii family hawa tusifikie wakati wanakimbia kotini ama wapi. County government waketi chini na familia hawa na representative yao mkubaliane compensation yao watoto ni ngapi, then walipwe.
From one tragedy to another, at least 85 people have been killed in a powerful explosion that tore through a restaurant in Petlawad in the Indian state of Madhya Pradesh. The restaurant was packed with workers and school children eating breakfast. The exact cause of the blast is unclear. Police first said a cooking gas cylinder exploded, later adding that explosives being stored nearby may also have caught fire. Rescue efforts are continuing and nearby buildings have been evacuated. In Egypt, the government has resigned, prompting the president to ask the country's oil minister to form a new cabinet within a week. The office of the president, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, confirmed the resignations but did not reveal the reason behind them. However, a senior source was quoted as saying the aim was to reshuffle the cabinet following a corruption scandal. Last Monday, Egypt's agriculture minister was arrested in connection with a corruption inquiry. In a statement, the presidency said Prime Minister Ibrahim Mahlab had delivered the government's resignation to President al-Sisi, who accepted it. Let's come back to Kenya now. Exhibitors at this year's Nyeri ASK, that's the Agricultural Society of Kenya show, are an unhappy lot. They say business has been bad this week during the agricultural show due to the glaring absence of students. KTN's Carol Derry explains.
Exhibitors and businessmen who participated in this year's Nyeri ASK show have lamented that business was not brisk as has been the norm in past ASK shows. They say the teachers' strike has adversely affected them this time round, as students who constitute a large portion of visitors who tour the showgrounds were missing. Some traders had traveled from far and wide to participate in the Nyeri show, but so far have nothing to show for it.
Natoka kutoka Nairobi. Nasema biashara ya hapa ilikuanga mbeleni ilikuanga mzuri. Lakini kwa saa hii biashara imerudi chini.
Saa hii kuko na hii mgomo ya walimu, hata studenti tulikuwa tunawategemea sana, lakini saa hii hatuwaoni.
All the way nikichoka from Embu nikikuja Nyeri na hakuna hata turn up ya wanafunzi, hiyo inachuzunisha sana.
The students themselves who left their homes to visit Kafireni showgrounds pleaded with the government to resolve the stalemate between the government and the teachers.
Jukaa mimi ni form 4, kuna venye si tunateseka sana tukisoma hapo. Tunahitaji walimu huko shule.
Kuna ile lazima mwalimu akupe guidance. Mwalimu ile guidance mwalimu unafaa at least ukienda kufanya mtihani, unaona? Lakini sasa walimu hayuko. Sasa uko peke yako class, isipokuwa bado unasoma lakini sasa ingiani mzuri juu walimu hayuko.
Others missed out on subsidized student levies because they did not have school uniform to show that they are students, as they had traveled from home.
Tunaadhirika sana juu unaingia mahali kwa project wanasema they only want 18 year the student people, where else uko civilian waizi wanaoingia wanataka student juu hiyo project ni inahusiana kuhusu students.
This year's theme has been centered on making maximum use of small parcels of land due to the surgent population.
There has to be a change in the way we think. If you are inheriting an acre of land, now ask yourself, or half an acre of land, ask yourself, what are your children going to inherit from you?
Deputy President William Ruto, who officially opened the Nyeri ASK show, said that the government was committed to boosting farming.
That this county again will be the first one to host what we call the Kenya School of Agriculture. Being the first one, we have done the designs and it will be hosted at the Wambogo farm.
Tukiangalia mbele, njia ya kupanua nafasi za kazi is through value addition, agro-processing and manufacturing.
Karen Derry, KTN News, Kafireni, Nyeri.
Kenyan opposition leaders have taken on the government over yesterday's admission by a cabinet secretary that indeed almost 1 billion shillings was lost in fraudulent dealings at the National Youth Service.
The opposition dug in, saying the government had vehemently denied that 2 months ago that any money had been lost.
The devolution cabinet secretary Ann Waiguru revealed yesterday that up to 21 officers could be prosecuted over the fraud.
The DCI confirms that there was a conspiracy to defraud NYS 695,400,000 in respect of committed disputed transactions.
It's these latest revelations that have started to spin a fresh storm in Cabinet Secretary Ann Waiguru's docket. Admission that the country lost some 791 million shillings in the scandalous NYS dealing, something that has prompted the opposition to point guns at the embattled CS. Senate Minority Leader Moses Wetangula is leading an onslaught seeking immediate expulsion of Waiguru.
Wakati wamesema pesa zimeibiwa, nyinyi mnajua alikuja kwa runinga akasema hakuna hata ndururu imepotea. Mulisikia hamkusikia? Jana tumemuona kwa runinga tena amesema ati pesa karibu milioni 800 zimepotea. Anachukua vijana wa ngazi ya chini katika wizara, junior officers, anasema ni hawa ndio watajibika.
The opposition is not satisfied by the manner the twists have developed, and to them the state was yet again proving insincere in the fight against graft. They are now proposing a top-down cleaning effect following the stinging data by the Director of Criminal Investigations. And even more, it troubles Wetangula that the Criminal Investigation Unit gave out the report to Waiguru to air the revelations.
CID walikuwa wanachunguza wizi wa pesa. Waiguru ni mshukiwa wa kwanza, the first suspect. Alafu tunaambiwa ati ripoti ya uchunguzi inapelekewa suspect Waiguru.
In Waiguru's statement Friday, investigations that reveal that fraudulent payments were made to suppliers of road construction and building materials, implicating the saga to some 21 officers who have since been recommended for prosecution. Leaders from the court side are raising concerns that the dragnet must be cast wider.
Ati yule mshukiwa ndio ati sasa amepatiwa orodha ya washukiwa. Sisi twasema kama washukiwa ni wa 21, wa 22 ni mshukiwa mmoja anaitwa Waiguru.
I want to demand that one Ann Waiguru, the CS in charge of devolution, resigns by Monday next week.
And it's not just the political class that has torn into the matter. KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli is worried that the skewed course of affairs may well open more doors for corruption, and the sooner Waiguru exits, the better.
Somebody has not shame anaenda kwa television anasema nilipoteza 800 million. In China ama nchi nyingine unatolewa kama wizara yako ilipoteza pesa aina hiyo. Wezi onekana tena. That is why people are investing in Asia. Here you can steal and you are proud to announce it on television.
The NYS scandal puts the Jubilee coalition in another awkward position. This especially considering the fact that they refuted corruption claims when the whistle was first blown. And how President Uhuru Kenyatta will maneuver his way around the subject is something critics will be keen to follow. The intricacies surrounding the National Youth Service saga is one that will not just go, especially with the latest pronouncements by Anne Waigoro, something that is now providing fodder for the opposition. Francis Ontomwa, KTN News, at the Kwajomvo Primary School, Mombasa.
Newly appointed National Sevens team head coach Benjamin Ayimba has exuded confidence that Kenya's qualification for the 2016 Olympics is almost a done deal. Ayimba is making a return to the helm of the Sevens technical bench 3 years after he parted ways with Shujaa. Assisted by Paul Murunga, Ayimba's priority remains the Olympics as well as getting Kenya among the top 10 countries in the world.
Yeah, quite an interesting week it has been in the rugby scenes. Of course, just a few days after the completion of the National Sevens circuit, where guys get to focus on the upcoming Safaricom Sevens, Benjamin Ayimba makes a comeback to the Kenya National Sevens team, of course, after a 3-year absence. Benja, very good to have you here, and it's been 3 years since your exit. And I think my first question will be, did you ever see yourself making a comeback to the National Sevens team?
Like I'd always said before, once the management at the top changed, and I was very clear about that, I would be ready to help the national team come back to its lost glory, and at whatever capacity. So when Richard and his team came in, that was an opportunity that I would do, and it happened that they advertised the job, and for the first time I actually applied for it. And lucky for me, I was given the chance to do the job.
And just so you know, after Benja parted ways with the Kenya National Sevens team, he has, of course, remained in the rugby world. We could say he had a short stint with Mean Machine, where he coached them before getting involved in organizing a few Sevens tournaments across the country. And I think one of the tournaments that you have been very well known for is the Masaku Sevens tournament. Just tell us, how has your life been out of the National Sevens circuit in matters rugby?
It's of course very difficult to adjust. If the game of rugby has been part of my life before I left, it was about 18 years, and it is very difficult to adjust to see what it is that you can fill in and use your time for. Machine needed someone then. They didn't have a coach and they're really struggling, and I was asked to help them out, so I did. I couldn't go on with that because of lack of organization between the team and the university administration. So it was time to look for new things, and Machakos came along alongside my friend Richard Nyakwaka Quicks. He thought, why don't you venture out in trying to nurture this young talent that is not within the rugby scene, so to speak. So the best way to do that was to start tournaments and allow younger teams to come in and play. Machakos, as it was, just grew a life of its own, and it's become a whole different animal for everyone else. Lucky for us, now it's become an international tournament that has got prize money, which is the best that Kenya has ever seen, and that is improving its profile. Of course, there was Meru as well, there was Kitui, and most recently there was Obama Sevens. So that sort of thing has helped me reinvent myself in terms of what I want to give back to this nation.
And of course, you took over the Kenya Sevens team in 2006 up to of course to 2011.
Yes.
And you know, I mean, that's a long time being in a team that you do not only coach, but you were sort of you played in it, so you're part of it. How was it like now watching from the outside? You know, you're not a player and you're not a coach.
It was very, very heartbreaking. I saw many things being broken down, and you remember I told you from the onslaught that whatever direction we taken was wrong, and it happened that many people did not seek my advice. Many people did not even think that what I was saying was right, and we went along and made mistakes. We've dug ourselves in a very deep hole. Right now we would have been in a different level, but again, things like that happen. People learn from mistakes, and we're here to sort that mess, so to speak, up.
What really happened? I mean, how did your exit happen? I mean,
my exit was purely political. There was nothing that made any logic. I took the team when we were at number 12. I brought it up to number 6, and we even qualified for the World Cup semis.
Yeah, you got to the semi-finals. You got to the final of the
Adelaide. For anyone who was looking at my performance, that was good enough. That should have been good enough. But for anyone who's looking for excuses, he would say we've dropped from number 6 to number 9. And for me, that was. It was not only foolhardy, it was almost foolish, a decision like that being made. But again, I realized that it was political, and there's not really much I can do for politics. I'm not a politician. So when I was kicked out, I thought, fine, let's see. They probably have something better to offer, and like we've seen, there's been really nothing to offer. So we're here to sort it out, and hopefully with the squad that we picked, and I've got a very able
and Benja, speaking of sorting out this team, I mean, you
Yes.
picked the team when it was 12,
Yes.
brought it to the 6th place.
Yes.
You're then coming back when the
It's
team
13th.
has
Yeah,
when the team has dipped again to the 13th position. But times have changed, of
I live
course.
for a challenge. I live for a challenge.
I mean, like, are you ready for this
And you
challenge?
see, times change, but the game really doesn't. It is a fallacy that the game has changed. It hasn't changed.
Oh,
You still
really?
have to pass the ball behind. You still have to cross the line to score. So for me, once you devise a way of doing that, then you have the game's grasp. Nothing has changed. You don't have to fly. You don't have to kick the ball to score anymore, except for the posts. So really, the fundamentals of the games haven't changed. And for whoever thinks that a coach will have difficulty because the game has transformed, it hasn't transformed. It hasn't become volleyball. So.
And Benja, the last 2 years have been very trying for Kenyan fans,
Yes,
so to speak.
Yes.
You know, Kenyan fans are the most special in the world. I
Yes,
think
yes,
they
yes.
will come in droves.
Yes.
They will
I
support
know
the team,
that- I
but
know
when the
that for
team,
sure.
yeah,
I
but
know
when the
that for
team
sure,
is
because-
also not doing so well,
I
people
played-
are bound to be
I
disappointed.
played when nobody knew about Kenya rugby, and pre 2008 nobody really cared about the rugby scene. 2009 when guys performed well, then we started having fans who had become so expert in the game. They started telling people who's not doing what. So I'm very aware of the Kenyan fan. We love them, and we think without them then wouldn't have made the strides that we made. However, we've got the tools, so to speak, to make it happen from 13th all the way back to top 10, and then we see how well we can penetrate the top 5.
So are you ready for the challenge? How did you get the team from 12th place to 6th place? And what are you going to do now to get the team from the 13th place to I don't know what?
You know, the only thing the Kenyan player doesn't have is confidence in himself. And that is what
Where did that confidence go to?
It never the way we were brought up, I think we were brought up to think that confidence is arrogance. Yeah, so many people tell you when you say, I'm going to achieve this, they tell you, hey, and you're arrogant. Instead of thinking, wow, that is ambitious, how are you planning to do that? As opposed to us telling you that, they say, oh, you're arrogant. So it is just to tell the players, guys, it is important to be very, very clear about what you want to achieve, and being confident is definitely the way to go. Because playing-wise, I don't think, in this world, we're churning out so much talent in Kenya. I don't think anybody, once those confidence levels go up there, I don't think anybody will beat us. Look at what Friday did. What Friday did was he made everyone in the team confident. There was nothing much that was done.
Looking at your comeback, of course, you come back at a time when we're looking forward, or Kenya is looking forward to qualifying for the Rio 2016 Olympics. In short, your work is well cut out.
It is well cut out. And Lynn, to be very honest, I think for me, Olympics was the epitome, whether I was in the background of the team or at the forefront. And that, of course, was cut short. The plans that I had were cut short because me being thrown out. But that's having happened. Olympics is any sportsman's dream. Whether you played, whether you coached, for me, going to the Olympics is so important. I don't think from now on I'm going to live, breathe, and do anything else except wanting to qualify for the Olympics and being in the medal bracket.
Then what does that mean for you? I remember one day you told me, when you're a coach, a national sevens coach, you sacrifice your time, you sacrifice your family, you technically sacrifice everything that you have. Is this something that you think is worth
At
doing?
least I've taken leave from this for 3 years, and I've spent quality time with the family. The kids are now well aware of what goes on. I've spent loads of time. It's time sacrifice for the next 40 plus million guys, and I'm sure when their father does that, they're happy. They're happy that their father has done something special. I think it's something they want to live with. And the other challenge as well is my son is now playing, and I won't live with it if I can't make this. And I don't know that he's reached his years that I'm head coach again, but I know I get a lot of stick from him. So for me, it comes from within. Like I was telling you earlier on, when my sister called me this morning, she drew me to tears because I didn't realize how much my family feels obliged by me, feels burdened by me not being in the team and having built something, and they felt the strain that never used to be there. And they felt the strain of me growing the team, and when I was kicked out, it actually affected them so much.
So in short, family is one of those things that will be pushing you as you take up this challenge.
Yeah, both my nucleus one and my siblings and parents. So it's going to be a very welcome challenge, and I assure you, I'm so confident. I've got a very, very good team behind me. I've got a wonderful management team. I've got a wonderful support system from Felix Ocheng, who have been with ever since 1996. I've got wonderful players to pick from. So I think this is a challenge I really want to take, and I'm smiling as it is. I can't even sleep, actually. I didn't sleep much last night, just thinking of how we're going to make this happen. And when it does, we'll probably be all smiling.
And Benja, speaking of wonderful players,
yes.
I mean, even as of now, 3 years down the line,
yes.
Most of the players in the national sevens team come from the pool that you had.
That I built, yes.
I mean, like
that is what tells you something about continuity. It's when you do a job well, then we're able to do that. I'm here for a short while alongside Pau, and there'll be other older players like Humphrey, and of course the whole lot of guys who developed those younger players. So I want that by the time I'm exiting, whoever it is that takes over keeps working on our greater picture. Like as we speak, there's Pau has picked a side that is not more than 16 years. At that side,
a development
side. So we're expecting that in 4 years, these guys will be able to get into the Kenya team without having really necessarily to be thrashed in there. But they would have worked between 16 and 20 years. They would have done enough work to make them just get into the team.
If you had stayed in the team,
yes.
What are some of the things that you probably would have done differently?
I'll probably not be head coach now. The way I'd planned it is that by now would have probably had Humphrey as coach. Felix and I would have probably been in the background. Now Pau would have been probably joining us to now get to stabilize that as me and Felix exit maybe in the next year. So what I would have done this differently is change the way we played. We're getting into contact too much. We're not seeing flair. There's less passes. There's less interesting play, and that's what makes Kenyans. People are not happy playing for Kenya anymore. We don't see them smile. We don't see them dance. Even
and I think when you used to be in the team, there was actually no contract for any player. You know, players were not on contract, but players were performing.
Yes.
But we have seen times when players have been on contracts, but they're still not performing.
You see, performance goes beyond a contract. Performance goes beyond being given money or facilities, so to speak. Performance goes beyond what is physical. Performance is almost spiritual. It's how you connect to the players as the management. It is what they feel obliged to do for you. In return, how do you treat them? I like to give a good example of Jose Mourinho and Pep Guardiola. Players always play for them, whichever club they go to. What do you think? What do you think is the secret? The secret is that they're so well connected to the players. They actually know when the players need a break. Yeah, and the team would be playing a very important match, and the best player is not playing because he's taking a break, because he's much more important in the long run than he is in the short term. So that's the relationship I want to build with those that I've never worked with, and I think they're a good bunch of kids who really want to show they want to give themselves to the better performance of this country. So I'm looking to bring back that human relation, as opposed to this is a paper, you have to do this, you have to do that. Because at the end of the day, it's only a body that can only be inspired by what is in your soul. And I want to speak to that soul. I forget this body thing. I want to get into the guys' hearts and tell them we have to do this for the country.
And should Kenyans expect new faces, say maybe in the next year?
The new faces are already there. The new boys who've been picked, we expect changes up and down, of course, depending on whether they're fit enough. Some are injured, some are not. Some didn't play the circuit, so they might get fit in the long run. We have 12 tournaments between the qualifiers and the end of the season next year. It is no mean feat. So we expect to have those changes up and down, but it won't be drastic. It's a lot of continuity from where Felix has left, and of course, when we come in, we are enhancing what he's left as opposed to trying to discard what he's done, because he's done quite a bit of work. Yes.
And back to 2016 Olympic qualifiers. I mean, this is important.
Yes.
Like very, very, very important. Yes. What are Kenya's chances to qualify for Rio?
The chances are 100% to qualify for Rio. That should not be. It should not be something we're discussing about whether will or not. it is our first mandate, and we're definitely qualifying for the Olympics.
Safaricom Sevens, your immediate,
Safari
7, your immediate assignment.
Because it has come so close after the selection of the new team, we're definitely going to use it as training. It's not anything I put emphasis on, because it is never an indicator of how the team performs out there. So for us, it is using that to see what combinations we can put together. Of course, we have new players that we've never worked with directly, myself and Pao. So we're looking to work with those that we haven't done. And see how well we can incorporate them in the team. It will help us in the long run to get the best selection for the qualifiers.
And of course, in the past, present, I mean, all over Kenya, it's a thing where we believe so much in foreign coaches, and when they come, we give them all the support. We pay them so much money. Yes. We have seen that happen right here. Yes. Honestly, are you happy with what they're paying you now?
I haven't discussed my contract with or how much I'm going to be paid, Lynn. But for me, the reason why I tell you that is not important right now is the team has got to qualify. Whether I'm paid a billion,
I mean, it's important.
Whether I'm paid a billion, or 50 bob now, the team has to qualify. So we're going out to qualify now.
So are you saying that the reason as to why you came back is because we really need to qualify for the Rio 2016 Olympics?
I'll give you an analogy of how that happens. My growth of the team was from the World Cup we went to qualify for the Olympics, go to the Olympics. It's like giving birth to a child. You nurture it, halfway through, you're not able to be with the child, and you haven't seen the growth to the level where it ought to be, but you know the potential of that child. So mine is that hiatus that I took. It's coming back, injecting a bit more energy, because then I can go to the rugby union and tell them, guys, we're able to do this. So now let's discuss better pay. Let's discuss better terms. And to be honest with you, a rugby coach now is not a full-time. It's not a full-time job. Why am I demanding so much? And I know the rugby union needs that money to sort out the kids. It would be selfish of me to start saying, I want to be paid
1 million.
Like, yes, I want 1 million. It would be selfish for me to do that. We've got the group of the kids I'm telling you about. We need to nurture them for the next 4 years. Where do they get the money? So it's good enough. Is it good enough for me to take the money and then they don't grow? I'm only an individual. So for me, it's about sorting out the mess that we are in now. Not really a mess. Sorting out the challenge we are in now, and then from there on I can say, guys, I think I've done my bit. So how can we improve my life? Yeah. And
probably, yeah, as we wind up, if you're to describe your feeling right now as you come back, what would it be? You know, excited, anxious?
It's a whole array. Like up to this morning, I didn't realize. Like when I told you, my sister called me early in the morning, and I didn't realize how much. It never hit me. You know, for me, I've been a coach. There's not much pressure. It's something I can do. Then she calls me, and the way she speaks, I'm thinking, wow, is it this big? If she can see it like this, am I not seeing the right thing? What am I expected to do? So for me, it's a bit of anxiety, excitement, expectation. I'm very expectant of what the team can give, and it's a huge challenge for me. I've had a rest. I have ideas. I have new ideas. I want to make these kids great. I want to step out and say, Benjamin Ayimba did this new. I want to win tournaments. I want to go to the Olympics and get a medal around my neck. I want to be a first again in doing something. So that is a good enough drive.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we end it there. All the best.
Thank you very much.
The Olympic qualifiers, more so.
Yeah.
That was Benjamin Ayimba speaking to us about his new appointment as the new Kenya National Sevens team coach. Do remember that he led the National Sevens team to the semi-finals of the World Cup, and he says that Olympic qualification can be done.
Kenyan international professional golfer Greg Snow shook off a bad start to shoot a superb level par 284 to win the KCB Pro-Am Golf Tour Grand Finale at the Par 71 Nyali Golf Club. Snow recollected his wits on the second day and shot an impressive 3 under par 68, then followed it with a similar score on the third. On the final day, Greg shot a satisfactory 1 over to clinch the top position in this year's finals of the KCB Golf Tour Series. In second position was Mumias resident Pro Dismas Indiza with a gross score of 5 over par 289. Indiza is also the overall winner of the PGK Order of Merit that ranks pros on the entire 5-leg series. He won 3 of the 5 tours, retaining the championship's Order of Merit prize.
All right, so we leave it at that for now. Thank you for watching KTN Weekend Prime. It was a pleasure having you, and thank you for your views as well. I think there's an SMS that came in saying, good one, Lynn, the interview with Benjamin Ayimba, who's back now, so we see what Kenya's prospects look like. And yes, I did have time to Google. So.
And so the answer is?
I was right.
What?
The UK are the ones hosting it, which is
No,
probably
no.
why they're the favorites to win. No? No?
They're not the favorites to win. They say they're the favorites to win.
Okay, they say they're the favorites
They
to
say
win.
they're the favorites to win.
Potato, potato. Okay.
Okay. So shall leave it at that before I start catching feelings about rugby
I know you're going to get into
here on set. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. My name is John Alanamu. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great night. There was a time